Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you're tuning in from around the globe, peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Welcome to the $1 Trillion Tickers broadcast. I'm your host, Matt Riches. This is your pre-market briefing for Tuesday, March 10th, 2026. Crude oil futures surged toward $120 a barrel yesterday as tensions escalated around the Iran conflict and the disruption of shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, triggering fears of a global energy supply shock. But then oil reversed sharply back into the low 90s, and once that reversal occurred, equities began trending higher very rapidly. So the big question for the markets today is whether that oil reversal continues to support equities or if energy prices begin pushing higher again and bring volatility back into the market. I track the headlines, the data, and the market levels so you don't have to. This show is for entertainment and education purposes only. Always do your own research, but you can use this show as a foundation. Let's get into the mantra. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve the wealth that I'm building for me and my family. Riches and freedom, they come to our hands. I am the master of all I command. My learning is limitless. My earnings are too. The more I discover, the more I can do. The stock market is a machine of design, and I have the power to make that wealth mine. I am capable, I am skilled, I am bold. Blessings on the journey as the vision unfolds. All right, let's get into. Give me 1 second to set this up. Finish setting up this stream, y'all. Give me 1 second. All right, there we go. So next we could get into earnings. So earnings, we didn't have any notable earnings pre-market yesterday or pre-market. In the aftermarket today, we do have Oracle. As far as Forex Factor, we have no red folders, no orange folders. Okay, let's get into Robert Greene's daily law. Knowledge is your superior. Quote, what makes the difference between an outstandingly creative person and a less creative one is not any special power, but greater knowledge in the form of practice, expertise, and the motivation to acquire and use it. Daily law. Knowledge is always progressing. Don't let your ego fool you. You are always knowledge's inferior. Robert Greene reminds us that knowledge is constantly evolving and expanding. The ideas and theories we believe to be true today may eventually be revised or even disproven in the future. One of the greatest obstacles is learning the ego, the belief that we already understand enough. When we become too attached to our ideas, we stop questioning, exploring, and growing. True mastery requires humility toward knowledge and the willingness to constantly learn and refine our understanding of the world. For long-term investors, this principle highlights the importance of remaining intellectually flexible. Markets evolve as technology, innovation, and global economic forces change. Investors who continue learning about new sectors, new technologies, and emerging trends are far more likely to adapt successfully to the shifting in market environments. For active traders, humility towards knowledge means respecting the market itself. Markets constantly present new conditions and unexpected outcomes. Traders who remain adaptable, curious, and willing to learn from price action will continuously improve their strategy and decision making. This is $1 Trillion Tickers, and I'm your host, Matt Riches. let's check out the market caps of our $1 trillion tickers. Most valuable company in the world, Nvidia, 4.43 trillion. Followed by Apple, 3.81 trillion. Google, 3.7 trillion. Microsoft, 3.04 trillion. Amazon, 2.29 trillion. TSM, 1.80 trillion. AVGO, 1.63 trillion. Meta, 1.63 trillion. Tesla, 1.49 trillion. Berkshire B, 1.07 trillion. All right, we got about 20 seconds before market open. All right, let's get ready, y'all. Here it is. Market open, market open, market open. The market is open March 10th, 6:30 a.m., 2026. Let's see what's going on. All right, SPY is barely under break even at 678.21. QQQ is up 0.25% at 609.26. Nvidia is up almost 0.25% at 183.10. Apple is down almost 0.75% at 258.11. Google is up 0.5% at 308.02. Microsoft is down almost 0.5% at 407.52. Let me go on a 1 minute chart. Amazon is up over 0.25% at 214.32. TSM is down almost 0.5% at 347. AVGO is up 1.25% at 350.51. Meta is up 1.5% at 657. Tesla is up 1.25% at 404.33. And Berkshire B is down 0.5% at 494. All right, let me set up this 8 chart display. So we have the most valuable company in the world, Nvidia, in the top left hand corner. To the right, we have Apple, Google, and Microsoft. Underneath Nvidia, we have Amazon. To the right, TSM, AVGO, and Meta Platforms. All right, there we are. Let me write good morning in the chat. And also, peace, blessings, financial freedom. All right, there we are. Okay, let's check out the news, y'all. Got a lot of news today. You see this screen? That's much better. My bad, Facebook people. I don't know why that thing is tripping like that. All right. Hold on, y'all. Technical difficulties. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. I thought this was pretty dope. Check this out, y'all.
This might be the most efficient way humans have ever worked. No machines, just rhythm. This tradition from northern Nigeria is called Gaia. Dozens of men line up like a human excavator, their shovels hitting the ground in perfect sync. But the secret isn't training, it's the drum. One person beats a steady rhythm and everyone locks into the same tempo, turning hard labor into a coordinated engine. And once a week, the entire village helps one household tackle their toughest farm work. Next week, they help someone else. So do you think this kind of system could work in other parts of the world? Follow Iron Will for more content like this.
I thought that was pretty dope, y'all. All right, next. This is talking about AI. This is a billionaire. That's what he had to say about AI, y'all. This is the co-founder of Sun Microsystems, and he's a Silicon Valley venture capitalist billionaire.
I think each country will do things different. Starting in about 2030, 80%, 4 years away, 80% of all jobs, so 2/3 of all jobs, will be capable of being done by an AI. So whether you're a physician, whether you're a radiologist, whether you're an accountant, whether you're a chip designer, whether you're a salesperson, AI will do your job better. And there'll be an interim period where every professional will have 4 AI interns. They're training to leverage themselves. And I think the initial model of AI deployment will be AI interns working for somebody who's already a senior accountant or a physician or pick your chip designer. But what happens when all labor is free? By the way, 15 trillion of US GDP is labor. 15 trillion. That would mostly go away. That's a hugely deflationary economy, something nobody's planning on. But it's a different kind of deflation than past deflationary economies. The abundance of goods and services will be very, very large. Prices will be very, very low. So I would suspect by 2040, $30,000 will buy, and maybe $10,000 will buy much more than you can buy if you have a $100,000 income today. So the level of income you need in a deflationary economy will be very different.
Did he say $10,000 will be able to buy $100,000 worth of goods today in 14 years? Sounds good to me. Shit. Shit, but the price is gonna be way higher, so I don't know if it's really gonna help. All right, next, Juicy J, the rapper, said it's time to go full electric. I think he's gonna be buying a Tesla, y'all. Shout out Juicy J. All right, next, Michael Saylor and MicroStrategies bought 17,994 more Bitcoin this past week at an average cost of 70,946 per Bitcoin. Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy now hold a total of 737,731 Bitcoin, with an average price of 75,862, y'all. All right. So he's still buying it up. He don't care. He ain't changing nothing. Then Bitcoin is slumping. They still buying it up, y'all. All right, next. A record 331,000 men are working 2 full-time jobs in the U.S. per Bloomberg. I thought that was interesting. That's a lot of hours, man. 80 hours a week. Ooh, goodness. All right, next. This is from Wall Street Journal Markets. The company NASDAQ, partnership with Kraken, aims to launch tokenized stocks by early 2027, pending SEC approval, enabling 24/7 trading and instant settlement, while preserving full shareholder rights like voting and dividends. Kraken's existing XStocks platform already handles 60 tokenized assets with $25 billion in trading volume and over 85,000 holders, but lacks full governance features that this collaboration will address. This issuer focus initiative challenges prior synthetic token models by integrating corporate actions on chain, potentially reducing costs and modernizing legacy systems in a $100 trillion global equity market. All right. Let's check out La Russell, man. You see how they hated on La Russell heavy, y'all. Let me play this clip.
I sold 30,000 albums independently within my community. We was really excited because with 30,000 albums, you know, we were supposed to chart, and I would have been like top 5 albums in, and I was like, man, we did it. And I get a call from a company called Luminate. Luminate works with Billboard. They decide who charts and how it goes, you know. And we like, man, we sold 30,000 units. And they come back and they say, none of your units count. All that hard work you did for you and your community to enjoy, but it don't count for what we do. And we like, well, why? And they said, well, you called some of your fans that bought albums, you did pop-up shows, you did live streams, and you set a goal and said you was going to sell this much. That's incentivizing them to support you. And I said, so marketing and promoting. At first, it was bothering me because it's like, man, you know, like we grind. What you talking about? Like, we really did. I broke records. I sold out for 20,000, 18,000, 11. What y'all talking about? Publicly, we the first people who ever made album sales transparent. You seen every sale live. Nobody, no other artist, the industry don't do it. And they said, nah, that don't count here. They game, they rules. And that's cool. You know, it's like we're gonna take our ball and we're gonna do what we do over here, and I'm gonna make y'all look culturally incompetent. It is what it is. At the end of the day, it's like, let come what may. You know, and the fact that it happened to me, of all people, is like, I'm the one who gonna go speak and go educate. All right, it's cool. Let me tell the people what's going on, though, and then y'all could talk to that. So it is what it is. We didn't chart, but we know what the fuck we did.
Shout out to Russell, man. They hating on that brother heavy. They is hating on that brother heavy. Sold 30,000 albums. They talking about it don't count. Man, F Billboard, y'all. Man, fuck Billboard, y'all. Hating on this young black brother. Because he changing the game, y'all, for real. He don't want these other artists to do that. He taking money out of their pockets. So they like, nah, it don't count. But shit, he's still making that bread, though. He ain't tripping. I mean, what can you do? The system, they just some haters. They don't like to see change. But let me get back to these stocks, y'all. Let me run these numbers. And we go on a 5-minute chart now. All right, SPX is down fractionally at 6,775. SPY is down over 0.25% at 676.24. The NAS 100 is barely over break even at 24,950. QQQ is down barely under break even at 607.54. Pam Bondi's Dow Jones is down almost 0.25% at 47,586. The Dow Jones ETF is down over 0.25% at 4,476. And the VIX. Let's check out the VIX spike yesterday, yo. The VIX, well, at the high, during market close, it was 35.30. And then it trended all the way down to 22. Then it trended up in the pre-market to 25.96. And now it's at 24.82. The 10-year Treasury note is at 4.12. Gold is moving up nicely. It's at 5,213 per ounce. The gold ETF looks like it's back in the gap. It's at 103.15. The silver trust is up 3% at 80.60. The copper miners ETF is up almost 1% at 82.94. AMD is up 1.5% at 205.74. Bitcoin is up 2% at 69,900. IBIT is up 1.25% at 39.65. Ethereum is back over 2,000. It's at $2,030. BMNR is down 0.5% at 2060. Palantir is down 1.25% at 154.38. Robinhood is down almost 1% at 78.61. All right, let's check out the sectors, see what we got. There's one sector that's green, barely green, that's technology, and all the other sectors are red. None of them are crazy red, none of them is 1% down, so they're all between down 0.25% and 0.75%. It's nothing crazy, except communications is down fractionally. But they're all down just a little bit, not much. So that's great. Let's check out the Fear and Greed Index. It's at 28 now, y'all. The Fear and Greed Index is at 28. So we are in fear. In heavy fear, y'all. I wonder if it hit extreme fear yesterday before the market had reversed. All right, let's check out some of these ETFs we like to check out on the show. IWM. Oh, you know what? Let's check out, since it's 6:46 now, that means the market's been open for 15 minutes. Let's see if we could get any trades with our algo, y'all. Of course, this thing is tripping. I'm gonna have to refresh. Come on now. Come on now, y'all. Let's see if we got a trade. First, let's check SPY and the Qs. Make sure we are trading with SPY and the Q. We don't want to be trading against them. Okay, so SPY had a sell in the pre-market. Let's check the. I'm supposed to be on the 15-minute chart. Okay, so SPY is down on the day. It's down fractionally. So it is in a sell. But QQQ is up almost 0.25%. So we do have a buy that just printed here. But we have to wait 12 minutes for this candle to close. See how the buy signal just went away? So it has to. That's why you don't buy. That's why you don't get in until the candle closes. You see how that's gone now? All right. So now let's go to the individual stocks. NVIDIA. So NVIDIA had a buy on the first 15-minute candle. The entry was 183.38. It's currently 20 cents higher than that. And the target is 184.75. And the stop loss is 182.01. But do remember, SPY is negative on the day. And QQQ is also... QQQ is positive on the day, but QQQ does not have a buy signal. All right, let's check out Apple. Apple had a sell signal in the pre-market. It does not have any new signals. I'm only looking for new signals off this first 15-minute candle. We did have a buy signal here in the pre-market on Google. One candle before market open. So the entry was 306.46. It did hit TP1. TP2 is 309.96. Stop loss is 304.71. Too late to get in though, unless it pulls back to this entry point. All right, we had a sell signal on Microsoft in the pre-market, and it sold off the first candle. Amazon had a sell in the pre-market. TSM had a sell in the pre-market. AVGO looking strong. AVGO had a buy. The candle right before the market opened. It was a 348.80 entry. It hit TP1. It got very close to TP2. Meta Platforms had a buy. The candle before the market opened. It did run up to TP2. And now it's back around TP1. Tesla had a buy on the first candle of the day. Entries at 403.60. Take profit is 406.09. Stop loss is 401.12. So that's looking pretty strong. It looks like it might go. And Berkshire B had a sell in a pre-market. All right, let's get back to the news. Zuckerberg. Let's see what he had to say. 1 minute clip.
In the future, every business, just like they have a website and a phone number and an email address and a social media account, is also going to have an AI that can interact with their customers to help them sell things, to help them do support. I think we're going to have a lot of different AI systems. We have a lot of different apps. Like a lot of creators will have their own AIs, right? I think like a lot of people will interact with a bunch of different things. Do you want a future that's fundamentally kind of very concentrated and where you're interacting with kind of one system for everything? Or do you want one where a lot of different people are building a lot of different AIs and systems, just kind of like you probably didn't want there to be just one app or just one website. It's like a richer world when there's a diversity of different things. So that's one piece, is just giving people the ability to build it themselves. And what open source does, it makes it so that everyone can take and modify the model and build stuff on top of it, which is different from the kind of closed and centralized approach.
What AI tools are you going to use to build your AI ecosystem and help your AI business? Will help your business. How are you going to use AI to help your business? We got to figure it out, people, because we are in the future. I thought this was pretty dope. This is a video from China. That music doesn't fit the video, but it is a robot walking down the street, walking a robot dog. If you're on YouTube, you can see it. If you're on Facebook, you cannot. But China is way ahead of us, man. We don't got no robots walking down the street in America, but they do in China. All right, next. Saudi Arabia pushes east-west pipeline toward capacity amid the Hormuz disruption. Saudi Arabia is ramping up its 750-mile east-west pipeline to a 7 million barrel per day capacity, more than doubling recent flows to reroute crude exports from the Persian Gulf to Red Sea terminals, bypassing the disrupted Strait of Hormuz. The Hormuz closure triggered early triggered by early March 2026 escalations in the Iran-Israel-U.S. conflict, has stranded tankers and halted nearly 20% of global oil transit, spiking prices to $126 per barrel and risking supply chain breakdown in Asia. Aramco's spare capacity offers short-term relief, but CEO Amin Nasser warns of catastrophic global market consequences if disruptions persist, as low inventories and limited alternatives could accelerate drawdowns and inflation. Speaking of oil, let's check out our oil tickers. Well, this is the Iraq War 2026 watch list. Let's see what happened. So, check this out. This is a daily chart. So, remember, this is yesterday's candle. So, it ran up. So, I got to move this all-time high up here. It ran up to a new all-time high and then sold off so crazy that it closed this gap. And this, I drew this gap too early. But wow, you see that? That thing ran up, came back, and now is where it was on Friday. So if you chase this, you definitely got clapped out. Alright, USO. Same thing. Closed the gap. It gapped up from Thursday to Friday, but on Monday it ran up crazy, came back down, closed the gap, and now it's back where it was on Friday. Alright, XLE looks to be trending down. Look for support at $55. XOP is back in the consolidation zone. Look for it to bounce on top of this gap at 156.07. IEO hit an all-time high on Monday and is drifting down today, down 1%. Lockheed Martin is down 1% today. Looks like it found some support here in our smart money concept support zone, which is between 647.83 and 638.19. It just touched the top and bounced. All right, Northrop Grumman is in the gap. Gap is almost filled here. Let me go ahead and shrink that gap. It's down almost 1.5% today. Raytheon, which is now RTX Corporation, is down almost 0.5% today. Chevron selling off is down over 1.5%, but it did hit an all-time high on Friday. ExxonMobil selling off at an all-time high on Monday, March 2nd. But yep, it's down almost 1.5% today. All right, let's check out. Actually, I got a lot of news. Let me get back to the news. Another music news. So this guy from Live Mixtapes said you could get 13,000 for every 1 million shares. Excuse me, every 1 million streams on their platform. So if you are a artist, a creator, a music creator, you rap, sing, whatever, if you're not using Live Mixtapes, you could be getting 13,000 for every million streams, while Apple and Spotify are only paying you 5,000. So check it out. And you can do both at the same time. So why not use Live Mixtapes and get more bread? Next, mortgage Mortgage platform Pineapple Financial undergoes restructuring by transitioning to AI-driven efficiency, cuts more than 60% of the workforce. They're going to save $2.5 million in operating costs and reduce monthly cash burn by 50%. So that's AI taking jobs, y'all. They cut 60% of the workforce. Wow. That's crazy. All right, so now that this Iran war might be almost over, Trump is talking about where the next potential is going to be. Here's a clip.
Cuba, you said that Cuba wants to make a deal.
Yes.
What would the United States get in return for that, and why should Americans trust Marco Rubio to negotiate it?
Well, Marco Rubio is doing a great job. I think he's going to go down as the greatest Secretary of State in history. Look at what we've done as a presidency. Look at what we've done as an administration. They trust Marco, and so do the American people trust. He's been successful no matter where he's been. He also speaks the language, which is always nice and always helpful. But he's dealing, and it may be a friendly takeover. It may not be a friendly takeover. It wouldn't matter because they're down to, as they say, fumes. They have no energy. They have no money. They're in deep trouble on a humanitarian basis. And we don't want to.
Trump is about to invade Cuba, y'all. All right, next. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang said, "We are still early. Much of the infrastructure does not yet exist. Much of the workforce has not yet been trained. Much of the opportunity has not been realized. But the direction is clear. AI is becoming the foundational infrastructure of the modern world. And the choices we make now, how fast we build, how broadly we participate, and how responsibly we deploy it, will shape what this era becomes." Next, billionaire investor Bill Ackman filed to take his public hedge fund firm Pershing Square in tandem with the new investment fund. So they about to IPO, y'all. Ackman's fund's about to IPO. All right, next, Meta hikes fees for advertisers to cover Europe's digital taxes. Price going up on Meta, y'all, on the Meta ads. Next, Amazon mandates banks for 8-part bond offering in euros. Let me get back to that. Next, the U.S. national debt is projected to increase by $2.4 trillion annually over the next decade. Wow. $2.4 trillion annually, yo. So that's going to be more than 20 trillion over the next decade. That's completely unsustainable. Completely. I don't know how to. So I think how much debt are we? We're in like 30 trillion debt. So we're gonna be in over 50 trillion debt over the next decade. That's unsustainable. What are we gonna do, folks? I don't know. All right, let's get back to this. Amazon mandates banks for 8-part bond offering in euros. Amazon has mandated HSBC, Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, and JP Morgan for an 8-part euro-denominated bond offering with maturity spanning 2 to 38 years as part of a larger cross-border debt sale returning to markets after its November 2025 USD issuance. The Euro bonds complement up to 11 USD tranches, enabling Amazon to raise funds for its projected $200 billion in 2026 capex focus on AI data centers, chips, and equipment. This issuance reflects a broader tech industry trend, with peers like Google and Oracle securing billions in similar debt amid strong bond investor demand. Though equity markets express caution over the $650 billion collective capex forecast, long-term returns. All right, next. Amazon's 11-part investment-grade debt offering launched today allows the company to raise billions across various maturities at low rates, leveraging its AAA equivalent credit rating to fund aggressive expansion without equity dilution. This move follows Amazon's February 2026 announcement of $200 billion in capex, up 50% from 2025, primarily for AI data centers and cloud infrastructure amid intensifying competition in generative AI. While the offering supports long-term revenue growth expected in 27 and 28, it contributes to near-term free cash flow challenges, as highlighted in recent earnings, potentially pressuring stock performance in the short term. Next, this is from Bar Chart. The U.S. Treasury's $15 billion buyback of the run nominal coupon securities maturing between April 2026 and February 2028 marks the largest single operation in history, exceeding the prior $12.5 billion record last December. This routine liquidity enhancement removes less liquid older bonds from circulation, aiming to deepen market trading and reduce volatility in the $27 trillion treasury market. Short-term effects include potential 2 to 5 basis point yield compression and 7 to 10 year tenors, based on prior buybacks, supporting equities while prompting gold and crypto interest as hedges against fiscal expansion. I thought this was pretty dope. Sophia Bell becomes the first gymnast in Auburn history to successfully land a Yurchenko double on the vault. Shout out to this sister right here. If you on YouTube, you can see her bust this flip on the vault. Wow, that looked difficult, and she did it with ease. Salute to that sister right there. Next, unemployed Americans with 4-year college degrees have hit a record high. Terrible, just terrible, y'all. All right, next. What should you do when the real bear market comes back? Like the 2022 scenario. This is from Amit. He said this is what he did last time in 2022. He put every single penny he had into the stock market, literally. He picked one stock, which was Palantir, to dollar cost average into. During a bear market, I think diversification is the worst idea because everything is on sale and you should try to build up a position as heavily as you can in 1 to 3 names. For me, it was Palantir. Then you just have to be right on that name. But if you are, the bears are eventually going to go away, and then you'll have a huge position in a low cost basis as we enter into a more bullish cycle. Shout out to Amit for getting Palantir right, y'all. Buying that thing at $8. Now it's over 100. About 150. Alright, next. The TSA line went all the way to a parking garage in New Orleans because of the TSA staff shortages based on the partial government shutdown. If you're on YouTube, you can see this video. This looks insane. Talking about come to the airport 4 hours early, y'all. 4 hours early. So if you got an early flight, you might have to go there the day before. Get there at midnight for a 4 a.m. flight, y'all. That is insane. Alright, next. Shout out China. You know they got better technology than us. So this shows a shared solar-powered phone charging stations have appeared on Chinese streets. They run on sunlight and batteries, providing emergency charging for passersby. Convenient and eco-friendly. Man, we should just move to China, y'all. Because they got way better technology than us. I thought this was actually pretty dope. This sister right here, named Cranton Warford, wins 3 consecutive powerlifting national championships at 167 pounds.
Of a personal best on their total, let alone in a single discipline. To say that she has leveled up in 2026, should she hit this?
So I don't want to hear that commentator talking this whole time. But she weighs 167 and she looking good, y'all. This is not powerlifting where she just looked like a dude. She actually looks very feminine. Cute in the face. If you're on YouTube, you can see her. And damn, she's stronger than me, y'all. She's stronger than me, y'all. I'm gonna admit it. She just squatted 529 pounds, which was a world record. She bench pressing 281, deadlifting 576 and a half, which is a national record. But she still looked feminine. So that is a total of 1,386 pounds for the national and unofficial world record. Shout out to this sister right here, y'all. Cranton Warford. National champion. She deserves a follow on IG. All right, next. Oh, I thought this was. Let me run some numbers. Let's see if we have any new signals for our trading dollar tickers. Let's see if SPY has turned green. No, it hasn't. SPY is down almost 0.5%. So we may have a sell signal here on SPY. Or I think we had one in the pre-market previously. Yes, we did. We are in between TP1 and TP2 on that SPY. And QQQ is now negative. Remember last time QQQ was up fractionally. It is now negative 0.25%. So let's see if we can find any companies that we got a sell signal on that can follow the indices. So I'm looking for a new sell signal since market has been open. So far, none. Whoa, look at Microsoft. Microsoft, they did have a sell signal in the pre-market, but they have a second entry here at 404.89. The stop loss is going to be 406.54. It did hit TP1, but its TP1 was 403.24. It is headed back to the entry. It is currently 404.05. So it already made the move. So I'm going to continue to look for something else. Amazon just chopping. We might have one here. Taiwan Semi. Let's see. Oh, they had a strong sell in the pre-market. So this is the second entry at 345.41. We're exactly right there right now. Oh, it's going to print right now, so we got to wait 8 seconds. And then we'll have a final entry point. All right, there it is. Entry on TSM on puts. Stop loss is 348.59, as you can see on the screen. This whole chart is almost red. The entry's 345.32. Price target TP1 is 342.05. All right. AVGO. Do we have a sell here? Probably not. Nope. Meta, we got a sell, y'all. We got a sell on Meta. It just printed. The entry was 650.62. The current price is 650.06. So the stop loss is 655.34. First target, it's gonna be low a day, which is 648.97, followed by our daily level here at 647.90. But as far as the algo, TP1 is 645.89, which is also the top of our Smart Money Concepts buy zone. All right, that's what we got on Meta. Tesla, let's see. Tesla is still in the buy, but it is negative on the buy. Let's see, Berkshire bounced on the gap earlier. All right. Okay. Check out this story that should be getting way more news, y'all.
Real estate brokers were found guilty.
Look at these.
Three wealthy brothers, including two of New York's top real estate brokers, were found guilty of sex trafficking charges on Monday. Oren Tal and Elon Alexander all faced allegations they lured women and girls to...
Let me run that back. Why is this not headline news? Forget about the war. Check this out.
Three wealthy brothers, including two of New York's top real estate brokers, were found guilty of sex trafficking charges on Monday. Oren Tal and Elon Alexander all faced allegations they lured women and girls to exclusive parties where they drugged and raped them. The brothers had each pleaded not guilty to all charges in an indictment alleging trafficking and other criminal conduct related to 7 victims. Over the course of a 6-week trial in Manhattan federal court, 11 women testified that one or more of the brothers sexually abused them. In his closing argument on March 3rd, prosecutor Andrew Jones said the brothers masqueraded as party boys, but really were predators. Defense lawyers acknowledged that the brothers had discussed the sex among themselves in crass terms. However, they argued the sexual encounters at issue were consensual. Oren and Tal Alexander co-founded the luxury real estate brokerage Official, while brother Elon was an executive at a private security company. An attorney for Elon Alexander said they disagreed with the jury's verdict and planned to appeal. Attorneys for Oren and Tal did not immediately respond to a request for comment.
Wow. This is way worse than that Diddy shit. This is straight drugging and violating. New York's top real estate brokers, y'all, found guilty of sex trafficking when they lured and violated women. at exclusive parties. Wow, this is terrible, y'all. Why this is not big news? You know what I mean? All right, next. Okay, let's get back to something positive. So this is a NFL star C.J. Gardner-Johnson. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it.
This how much I done saved up so far.
So he got $38 million in one of his bank accounts. I thought that was pretty dope.
That's just the front. Keep going. I just be chilling. I just wipe over like, wait, what? I did sign for $30-some million and fulfill that whole contract. I need all that.
Yeah.
They're like, CD, how the fuck you doing it? Why you spending? Why you even go broke? Yeah, no. I just let people run their mouth. Like, they think they know me. I can buy this bitch. Literally. That's why I be like, oh, he wild. He gonna blow his money. I kept waiting like, say your money, chop. I know what you do with your money. Just put it up.
Shout out C.J. Gardner-Johnson. For having $38 million in one account. I wonder how much you got in your invest account, brother. Show us that one. You actually tripping. They need to get this brother to put some money in the market and flip that bird. But maybe he got so much, he like, I ain't taking no risk. Y'all finna give me the millionaires, the super multi-millionaires APR on this bread, and I'm gonna just keep it in the bank and not have no risk. Maybe that's what he's doing. I do want more information on why he would keep it in the bank. But salute to him, man, for not blowing that shit. All right, next. NVIDIA is planning to launch an open source AI agent platform called NemoClaw, allowing enterprises to deploy AI agents for their workforces. NVIDIA getting into the AI agents game, y'all. All right, that's enough. We've been on for a long time, y'all. We've been on for a long time. All right, you know how we like to end the show with Instagram.
You're more blessed than you think. Sometimes you just struggle to realize how much is in front of you because you're constantly thinking about what you have to obtain. The rich person is not the one who has a lot, but the one that has enough. So you should seek to have enough, inshallah. When was the last time you took some time to think about how much blessings Allah has put into your life? You have a family, alhamdulillah. You get to eat every day. You have a house, alhamdulillah, guys. Every time we're thinking, I want to obtain more and more and more. That so much so that we struggle to realize how much we already have, subhanAllah. And you will never ever have enough. And that's the way the Prophet ﷺ says, right? He says, if you give the son of Adam 2 values of gold, you still need to get a third one. So sometimes just be thankful. Like in shakartum la azidannakum, and that's the beauty of it anyway. Because we are grateful, Allah is going to increase you.
Chase excellence, never chase money. Why? Because money has an incredible way of finding excellence. Did you chase excellence and not money? Do you have the intellectual curiosity to learn everything you can about this incredible industry and master it? Become the smartest person in the room. Have you mastered it?
it don't happen overnight. And there's going to be moments when it's really, really frustrating. And there's going to be moments when it's really, really inspiring and empowering. And if you get too high off the highs and too low off the lows, you're going to take yourself on a ride that's very uncomfortable. I think it's just about being committed to the work, appreciating it, when it's good and not stressing too bad when it's bad, just appreciating the work and staying focused on showing up every day.
That's what we do here at Trading Dollar Tickers. We show up every day, 6:15 a.m. We'll be back tomorrow in the pre-market. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Shout out to everybody on YouTube Live and Facebook Live. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom.